Aloha. Should we try it one more time? See, we're just all gathering. Try one more time. Here we go. If you don't have a lei, Megan's going to be handing you one. So here we go. Aloha. Aloha. Woo! All right. Good morning and welcome to our worship service this morning. Our youth are going to be leading our worship service, and our youth just got back from a conference in Hawaii, and they're going to be sharing with us some of their amazing experiences. And I just want to say, we're just having so much fun with leis this morning. Okay, this is kind of what it was like herding cats all week, right? This is a good experience of what it was like with 14 teenagers and 4 adults. We had teenagers anywhere. We had 6 youth that were going to be seniors in high school, and the rest were anywhere from 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, going to be 11th graders. And it was a really, really fun mix. We were with the 8 western regions of the UCC, and there were 450 youth at this conference from Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, Oregon. So we made lots of new friends, and you'll get to hear a little bit about our experience. I just want to say this group of kids could not have been more amazing. Everybody on this trip went with such a spirit of how can I help? How can I make this trip better for everyone? There was never a fuss, never a squabble. Everybody just got to where they needed to be on time and just had the best, most amazing attitude ever. And I have to say, we also had the best chaperones. Thank you, Kip. He rallied our cars and did everything we needed in that way. Thank you. We had Allison, who was in charge of fun. You'll have to ask her her nickname later. We all came home with nicknames, and we all got special awards, so we'll share those maybe later also. And Lisa, fun, organized, and just kept us all calm. How can you be excited and calm at the same time? That would be Lisa. How can you be fun and organized? That would be Lisa. So anyway, so thank you, and thank you all for being here. We'll enter into worship. Are there any announcements? Okay, all right.
As we were rehearsing the middle and closing hymns with the kids a while ago, the young people, they're used to doing the verses in a slightly different order than what they are in the hymnal. So with our middle hymn today, I've got Peace Like a River. You'll mostly be watching them anyway. I hope you'll sing along. But please note the verses will be 1, 3, then 2. All right? It's not 1, 2, 3. So when you look at number 394, be prepared to sing the first, the third, the second, and then a little surprise from them to close it out. All right? And the opening hymn, one of our classic ones of the church, Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee. And then the second one, you just explained. The third one, you should have an insert of 3 pieces, Swing Low, The Saints, and then one called I Want to Sing. So you're going to have to pay attention on that, and it'll be done in round, well, not quite in round. We'll explain it when it happens, all right? I do want to invite you, even though I know you can all read very well, 3 weeks from last night, August 4th, we're going to be putting on quite a concert here. Not the sort of thing you hear on Sunday morning, and some of you will be overjoyed, some of you may be aghast by that. But I've got a spectacular cast of 11 performers, a great blues guitarist, friend from Wrightwood, as well as a spectacular soprano, Stephanie, Alan Crawley and his wife Marie, doing some great Broadway and rhythm and blues. So I hope you'll be here for it. It's really going to be a dynamite show. August 4th, 7:30 here, a Midsummer Night's concert. The reason for that was not to usurp the plan to go to the UCI Midsummer Night. It's just almost exactly in the center of the summer dates. That's why semi-aptly named. I hope you'll now stand and sing with us hymn number 20. We're going to forego the prelude today and get in with singing, shall we? Number 22, Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee. If you'll stand and sing.
I raise my eyes towards the mountains. Where will my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. God won't let your foot slip. Your protector won't fall asleep on the job. No, Israel's protector never sleeps or rests. The Lord is your protector. The Lord is your shade right beside you. The sun won't strike you during the day, neither will the moon at night. The Lord will protect you from all evil. God will protect your very life. The Lord will protect you on your journeys, whether going or coming, from now until forever from now.
Let us pray. Holy One, keeper of our days, maker of sky and soil, star and sea, you are present in our coming in and in our going out. Through all the varying scenes of life, your presence abides. You have journeyed with us through times of peace, of laughter, and of sorrow. You are the one who walks with us in the valley of every shadow and along the edge of every shore. Spirit, draw near, bind our hearts together in one ohana. Be present in the genuine embrace of loved ones, in the joy of long-lost stories, in the stillness be found faithful. Holy One, you are the beautiful mystery who transcends life and death. You are the one great enough to hold the fullness of our story. Thank you for the light and life that shines through our youth. Thank you for the gifts our youth author, and for the strength our youth share, and for the love our youth give, and for the laughter and joy our youth inspire. Amen.
Okay, now Elizabeth's going to come up and give the children's sermon. I saw Meredith here today, right? Okay, our child sermon. Come on up. And Tess, oh, Tess is here too. Yay. All right. Big sister is giving the children's sermon today. Okay.
Hi. Do you guys know what this is? Yeah, a bracelet. Do you know what it's made out of? Rocks. Nice guess. It's made out of a kukui nut. The kukui nut dates back to the 1800s in Hawaii. Polynesians brought it with them when they first arrived to the islands. They planted the nut in the ground, and today they're 800-foot trees, where they get the nuts. Back in the day, the natives used these to make a surfboard and other wooden items waterproof. And they would eat the pit of it to relieve a headache or any pain they have. And still today, they're used to make oils. The kukui symbolizes inner light, hope, and renewal. It also, to them, is the spirit revealing itself.
That's awesome. So for the Hawaiians, everything in nature is also spiritual, and they see God in all of it, and they make connections between all of it. And that's one of the really neat things we got to experience in Hawaii. Have you been to Hawaii? You haven't been there. You've been there. So when you go, you'll see, you get a very special feeling, and that feeling is the spirit. There's a special, just the way it smells and feels and all that good stuff. So we got to experience some of that. Thank you, Elizabeth. So you want to pray with us real fast? Okay, and have you seen that movie, Moana? Okay, so the kukui nut, they used to use it for time. They would burn it, burn the oil in it, and each nut would burn a certain amount of time. And so they would let their children go out to play, and they had to be back by the time the next little nut got burned down. So when you watch that movie in the background, you'll see that, and you'll know what that's about. All right, so, all right. Dear God of light, God of love, God of all things beautiful, we thank you for the time to be together, and we thank you for the special time to enjoy all of the beauty that you have put all around us. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Okay. And you guys get to stay in here today, so you can go back with your families. Thanks, Elizabeth. Ushers can come forward.
We invite you to be with us, Jesus, as we offer you our love, our devotion, and these gifts. May they be of use in your service. Amen.
All right.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm just going to remind you, verses 1, 3, then 2.
Okay, and we have some special moves today. We are bringing a little bit of our fun spirit home with us. So we would love for you guys to join in with the moves. The song is super simple, so you can probably do it without your hymnal. All right, and these guys are going to lead us, and a lot of fun. Here we go. Okay, guys, this way. Remember, okay.
Right then, Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and sent them away. He went up on a mountain by himself to pray. Evening came, and he was alone. Meanwhile, the boat, fighting a strong headwind, was being battered by the waves and was already far away from land. Very early in the morning, he came to his disciples walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified and said, "It's a ghost!" They were so frightened they screamed. "Ah!" Just then, Jesus spoke to them.
"Be encouraged. It's me. Don't be afraid."
Peter replied,
"Lord, if it's you, order me to come to you on the water."
and Jesus said,
"Come."
Then Peter got out of the boat and was walking on the water towards Jesus. But when Peter saw the strong wind, he became frightened. As he began to sink, he shouted,
"Lord, rescue me."
Jesus immediately reached out and grabbed him, saying,
"You man of weak faith, why did you begin to have doubts?"
When they got into the boat, the wind settled down. When those in the boat worshipped Jesus and said,
You must be God's son.
Aloha, my name is Lauren O'Neill, and one thing that stood out to me on this trip was the feeling we all shared that is summed up by the word aloha. The word aloha has many different meanings such as hello, goodbye, love, compassion, and mercy. Aloha is the spirit that is heavily present on the island. The vibe, the chill music, the lush green cheese, the clear warm water, the acai bowls. Throughout my life, my family and I have visited Hawaii over the summer almost every year. Growing up, the word aloha transformed into many different meanings to me. I used to think it meant hello. Now I realize it means so much more. In my younger years, I remember trips to Hawaii when my sister and I would spend hours swimming in the ocean, or when we would travel with friends from church as little kids. This summer, we returned without our parents, in our youth group as young adults, and I felt aloha means so much more. What does it mean to live aloha? Living aloha is to live in harmony with nature, oneself, mankind, and most importantly, with God. To live aloha is to express love and compassion with the Holy Spirit and share it with others. It is true that Hawaiian people say aloha both when greeting someone and also saying goodbye. But if we dissect the word aloha, we see that the roots of Hawaii, alo, means to share, oha means to show affection or friendship, and ha means life or breath. God asks us to risk stepping out of our comfort zone to love others. God's greatest commandment is to love God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and love our neighbor as ourselves. This is the first and great commandment, to spread aloha in a way that others are able to see God through us. During this trip, we were also given the opportunity to spread aloha in nature by going on a service trip. I went to a taro marsh with new friends that I made from many different states. We had an instant connection through the Holy Spirit. Here, I learned another Hawaiian word, ho'omano, which means to enhance. The Hawaiians always want to leave things better than they find them. I feel like we were able to leave Hawaii better than we found it by helping out. I also feel like we came back better versions of ourselves after our 8 days there together. Later, I was told by my Hawaiian friend that the Ulupo Marsh is one of the most sacred places on the island. One of the highlights of the trip was the first day of the conference when we all gathered in a hall and heard an impactful sermon that emphasized to step out of the boat and risk the waves. Did you know that God says, "Fear not," 366 times in the Bible? That's one for every single day of the year, with one left over that can be used for leap year. This sermon resonated with me, and I was able to carry that throughout the trip and back home. The guest speaker spoke about Peter walking on water with Jesus, and if we have faith and step out of the boat with Jesus, God will help us do amazing things. Throughout the trip, I made a goal to spread aloha everywhere I went, so others could experience aloha as well. On the last day of the conference, we gathered outside for a final worship all together. We heard another sermon about risking the waves, because with God by our sides, risking the waves with God is the safest place we could be. So step out of the boat, risk the waves, and spread a little aloha.
So first things first, I really want to thank all of you guys for donating for our trip and making it possible for us to go, because it was such an enriching opportunity for us to all be a part of, and it was really because of you guys that it could happen. So thank you. So I'll start off with the story of somebody that I met, and I think that it really shows off the spirit of the conference that we were at and the UCC. So the guy that I met, his name is Rai, and he believes in communalism. So for those that don't know, communalism is basically a form of government, and there's independent communes that participate in a federation, and then each of those communes or communities has the right to do something, have their own level of autonomy with creating their own beliefs or policies. And it's so far left that it's actually beyond communism, and it's so far left that it eclipses the idea of a state or government that we think of, or like a country. So here Raya is believing in communalism, but also enjoying himself at the UCC as a Christian, while simultaneously holding really extreme beliefs that not all Christians would necessarily agree with. But he was still able to do that in the environment that we were in, and I think that's pretty cool. So I think the story really does show off the inclusivity and acceptance that the UCC has and that our conference had. And I'm so glad that I had the chance, and we all had the chance to meet people that had really diverse perspectives like Rise. One other thing that I thought of was that if religious institutions keep on growing in America, it's really important that they adopt a mindset of openness towards all sexual, gender, political, and personal forms of expression, and that's something that was really showcased in our conference. And that was also what was so amazing about the conference that we were at, is that it was a place for all sorts of people to freely worship without worrying about another opinion of themselves or what other people in the room would be thinking of them while they were trying to worship. So that's the spirit and attitude that I think the UCC conference really effectively utilized in all sorts of things that we did the whole time, and the attitude that really created a welcoming feeling for us while we were in Hawaii. So even beyond that conference, the open attitude that we saw and the accepting belief system is what I personally think will help prolong the Christian religion itself in the future, because I noticed a lot of people really enjoyed the level of support that the conference provided to them. And even in the conference, a lot of people might have had differing beliefs about what they hold as Christianity themselves, but because of how open the conference was, they were all able to kind of join together in worship. So some people had maybe a more metaphorical belief of Christianity, and some people might have had more literal and traditional beliefs, but they were still all accepted within the conference that we were at. And some people that I met even incorporated meditation into their type of worship, which really was something that struck out to me as something unique that they could fit into their UCC faith. And then one other thing I did want to bring up too is that at our conference we also got to have some level of political activism as well. So I went to 2 different workshops, and the first one addressed wage issues in Hawaii itself, so that was like a domestic political issue. But another workshop that I went to was actually about, it was gun control activism, which is a federal issue or a national issue. And both of these showed off another aspect of the UCC that really impressed me, which is involvement in local politics or even national politics. So normally we don't necessarily view churches as large political institutions, except for maybe on a few issues, but our conference seemed to be really supporting a lot of modern liberal policies that really were interesting to me. So for example, with this specific issue in Hawaii, for somebody to work in Hawaii and to be able to support a family, you would need to make around $37 an hour, but minimum wage is $11 an hour. So people have to work 2 or 3 jobs and drive Uber just to be able to support a family. And we met an Uber driver there who was working his normal job, and he would also drive Uber just to be able to afford rent. So that's the type of thing that we were able to integrate our faith into and see while we were at the conference. I think all in all, when we look back on what we got to experience, I'm so glad that I was personally able to broaden my religious perspective from being involved with different people that held diverse beliefs. And I'm also really glad that we got to learn more about specific politics in Hawaii that really made a difference to people there. The combination of those two components really made me enjoy my trip, and I know we all had a great time as well. All right, thank you.
This trip to Hawaii was by far a very memorable trip for me and everyone in our youth group at church. Hawaii has and will always be a spot for me, my dad, and mom. As most of you know, I lost my mom when I was 6 to breast cancer, and my dad last December to a heart attack. Hawaii was our favorite spot to go, and when I heard about Hawaii, the first thing that came to my mind was my dad. Once I heard about our trip and that it got extended, we were going to the North Shore, I knew that it would be perfect if I got to spread my dad's ashes there. The reason I wanted to spread my dad's ashes there is because when my dad went with his brothers to live in Hawaii, the place they spent most of their time was the North Shore, surfing and having fun. In 2016, the reason I wanted to spread my dad's ashes there is because when my dad went with his brothers to live in Hawaii, the place they spent most of their time was the North Shore, surfing and having fun. If you made your whole neighborhood an ohana, or your office your ohana, how much easier and better and fulfilling would your job be if you felt like everyone in your office was a member of your family? That's what I feel like with my youth group here at church. Once I got to know them better, I knew I was at home. When I spreaded my father's ashes, I've never felt so close to someone in my whole life. I knew that God was there among with my mom and dad. As I was walking down to the water, I noticed the ocean getting calmer as I got closer. Once I was ready to spread his ashes, the water was completely calm. Once the bag was empty and my dad was one with the water, wave after wave came. It looked like the water wanted him. I knew it was where he was supposed to be, and I knew my dad belonged in the ocean. Thank you.
Okay, now Elizabeth made a little slideshow for us to see. Those were amazing. Thank you, guys. So you get to experience some of what we experienced. It was a lot of fun. There were a lot of laughters. You heard there were some just really sweet, tender moments, some tears of joy, and a lot of remembering. It's a special tech at our church. All right. All right, ready?
Anywhere with you is home. I've run around on the beaches of LA, skip stones by the bay. I'll take you there someday. Spend New Year's Eve once in Times Square, breathe in that London air. But if it ain't with you, who cares? My passport's thick from all that we've been through, but the best thing that I've seen is you. Oh, and I'll go wherever the wind blows, just as long as you are by my side. And I'll be wherever this road leads, just as long as you are here tonight. Anywhere with you is home. Anywhere with you is home. Bummed a ride off a
Are you listening? What we're about to say. See, we're on a mission, trying to find a way. If you and me,
You can tell rock jumping's a highlight, right?
Spread a little aloha around the world. And I know we can work it out. Make this world a better place for you and for me. A-L-O-H-A, a little aloha in our day. Spread a little aloha around the world. A-L-O-H-A, a little aloha in our day. Spread a little aloha around the world. Could you imagine all around the world a little aloha in every boy and girl? Could you imagine how simple life could be with a little aloha for you and me? Let's spread a little bit of aloha, put a little love in your heart, take a little dip in the ocean. Oh yeah, oh yeah. A-L-O-H-A, a little aloha in our day. Spread a little aloha around the world. A-L-O-H-A, a little aloha in our day. Spread a little aloha around the world. Aloha means hello, and aloha means goodbye. Aloha means I love you, and I wanna take it higher. I wanna take it higher with a little aloha. I can touch the sky with a little aloha, aloha. Let's spread a little bit of aloha. Put a little love in your heart. Take a little dip in the ocean. Oh yeah, oh yeah. A-L-O-H-A, a little aloha in our day. Spread a little aloha.
We already touched on this a little bit, but it takes a group to pull all of these things off, and it's just incredible what the youth have had a chance to experience, and leading up to and culminating to this trip to Hawaii. We had Don Ronaldson, who's been the Sunday school teacher for a lot of these youth for 4 years, I think. Don and Vicky were at our house at 3:45 a.m. setting up breakfast, getting everything ready for the kids as we left for our trip. And the whole congregation was with us in this trip, which was just incredible. And I loved what Alex talked about. What really struck us in the conference presentations and everything they talked about is the belief that God is active in the world, but it takes our participation to be the hands and the feet of activity and action and engagement and agents in that world. And that's where God is truly present, and then we are all ohana together. And it was just an incredible trip. There's the great chaperones. So thank you guys for everything.
Could you imagine all around the world a little aloha in every boy and girl?
Will you join me with the Lord's Prayer? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Okay, yes. So come on up, guys, for our closing hymn. We have another special fun hymn for you guys to sing along with us.
Invite you to take your sheet. Two well-known pieces, one not so much, but the young people are going to lead us on that. So here's the deal. You swing low, and you are saints. All right? Take that as you will. All right? So we're going to sing through each of these verses, each song. You'll sing swing low all the way through, then when the saints, then I want to sing. And at that point, without stopping, we go into our individual song. From that point, when we start it again, you sing swing low, you start when the saints, and they will be one a singing, all right? And we'll do it twice more together, because the first time could be a little rough. Will you stand and join our leaders up front? We'll sing them individually, then your swing low, your saints, and whatever Kathy has.
Okay, so Lisa McRae will lead swing low over here. Kip will lead the saints. You good with that? Okay, and I'll be with you guys. Okay? All right, here we go.
We'll sing them in order, and it's going to be a little faster than you'd normally sing swing